Hey everybody, David Starr here with another installment of On Guitars. Before I forget, if you like what you're seeing on these videos, please give us a thumbs up, tell your friends, the more the merrier in a place like this. Today I want to talk about a guitar that didn't have a particularly long life in its first incarnation, and that's the Gibson CF-100E. Kind of an odd looking instrument in a way, although there have been plenty of crazy guitars built over the years. This particular one is probably mid-50s. Don't know for sure because Gibson serial numbers on a good day are confusing over the last 60, 70 years. Since 77 or so, they've been pretty consistent. But when they change ownership or change manufacturing facilities or whatever, they're just systems in general got changed and some numbers weren't particularly consistent. So this one appears to be 55, 56, somewhere in there. An interesting side note about this particular model. This is Gibson's first foray into an acoustic-electric guitar. As we've talked about in these videos, and if you're a guitar player, you no doubt know this. There are pickups that go here, there are pickups that go in the sound hole. But most of us wouldn't think today about installing a pickup underneath the top and poking holes through it. We talked about the J160E, which is sort of thought of as the John Lennon model, that people throw that around. Same deal. That came along after this. So a couple of things that are interesting about this particular model. It's got a cutaway. So it's very much like the little LG1s and LG2s, but they put a cutaway on it so you can get up here and play high, as if you were going to play guitar solos and licks and whatnot up high. So that's kind of cool. It's got the pickup, it's got the volume and tone control, and so it was an early attempt by Gibson to enter the acoustic electric market, or create one, if you will. Now, this guitar, this individual particular guitar, is kind of enigmatic to me in a way. Let's start with the bridge. That bridge looks really, really new to me for this guitar. It's new and shiny, and just probably was replaced. Like a lot of guitars that I've picked up over the years, I don't have a real story to go with this one before I got it. I know where I got it, and I know the guy I got it from, but I'm not sure he had a real straight line back to where it came from, as he is also in the guitar business, my friend Les. So don't know exactly what happened to it in its early years, but coming from the 50s, all kinds of things could have happened. Bridge could have come off, bridge could have cracked this way. That happens a lot. So anything could have happened. You'll see these more often than not with a sunburst finish on them. This could have had a sunburst finish and it was refinished, or it came from the factory like this. None of that is clear to me, and it doesn't really matter because I wanted one, which gets to the broader question: why did I want one? I don't know. I just think they're cool. It's different. Like a lot of guitars, when this was designed, the engineers and designers and luthiers that came up with this concept had an idea in mind. Let's make it an acoustic guitar for electric guitar players. Because by the mid-50s, people were, rock and roll was the thing. So they came up here and began trying to make a guitar that was easier to solo on for the acoustic guitar player. I don't know many people to get up there and play on this particular instrument, but it's there if you want it, right? This guitar is not just interesting because it's the natural top, which by the way is heavily checked. you know, it's seen some. It's stayed up late. Okay, that's all I'll say. Back and sides, looks like we've got some cracks here that, if I look inside there, they've been cleated and repaired. So somebody took care to fix it correctly. One of the interesting things to me is this headstock. If you can see this, it's got what looks like a rosewood overlay on it. Many of the ones I've seen have a black headstock, just painted black headstock. I don't really understand what's going on here, and I've not been able to figure that out. Another thing is, this guitar has been broken and repaired right here. I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, when you're looking at a vintage guitar or any guitar, look for that. It's kind of like Kelly Blue Book, but there isn't a Kelly Blue Book for each serial number on a guitar. When you're buying a car, you can find out if it's been wrecked. Here, you just got to look. So check on it. Don't be too enamored with it right off the bat and say, yeah, I'll take it, and get it home and realize that's a weak spot. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, David, you bought it. Yes, I did, because I had to have it. And I got a pretty good, my friend Les gave me a pretty good deal on it. But that is not uncommon on old guitars. Somebody probably leaned this against something, like we've all done. The phone rings, the baby cries, whatever, doorbell rings, and you got to run and let somebody in the house or whatever, lean it against the wall, and then somebody comes along and puts pressure on it. I had a guitar come in one time when I had my store in Little Rock, and I really didn't know how to fix it, but I did fix it. They gave me a couple of weeks to work on it, and I got it done. It was broken like this, and the story was, it was leaned up against the wall in their apartment or their house, and they had 2 cats. And if you've ever had cats that like to play, they can move around a house pretty quick and run into things and knock over lamps and whatnot. And that guitar was a casualty of happy cats or running cats or frolicking cats or whatever you want to look at it. The cats were roughhousing and they broke the guitar. And I managed to fix that guitar. Sometimes they're fixed poorly and they're never quite the same. This one isn't perfect, but it's okay. It's all right. And it's got soul. You know, it's got mojo. So, pretty good sounding guitar. They don't sound just like the J160E that we talked about in another video. They don't sound particularly good with this pickup. It's a sound, and it's a unique sound. But if you're going for the pure acoustic guitar sound, you're not going to get it there generally. This one I put an LR Baggs Anthem pickup. We've talked about that. It's a great pickup. Got the mic in there and the element under the saddle. But it's a cool little guitar. I've written some stuff on it. It is X-braced, so it's a little louder than some of the other smaller guitars. Pretty interesting little guitar, and I always wanted one. If you see one that's in really, really good shape from the 50s, they're pretty expensive. They're $4,000 or $5,000. And I didn't want to pay that. I didn't have the money for that. So found one that was quite a bit less because it had issues. We've all got issues, and that's okay. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you can find one of these and it's in good shape, you ought to buy it because they don't make them anymore. They do make a reissue. Not the same thing. It's a good guitar, it's just not the same. Old is cool. Right? Thanks for listening again. Give us a thumbs up if you like it, and tell your friends to subscribe to this channel just like you just did. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.